Welcome back, everyone, to Drop Frames. Going to the second portion of the show here. We got a little bit of news to talk about, but not really, because there's no actual news this week, but mostly just some patch
news
notes.
is good news.
Yeah,
Means we're not getting fucked in some way.
I have a little bit of news. A little tiny bit of news.
Go ahead. What's the news, Co?
The new RimWorld patch just came out. Yes!
How is that game? Haven't played it yet. I've heard good things.
Oh my god, it's so addicting. I have spent so many hours in RimWorld. I name my colonists after subscribers. We do different missions. I have challenges that I give myself. It's a brutal Dwarf Fortress-esque colony survivor game, and it is fantastic. I've had so much fun with it.
I think I've only watched you play this game, and everyone told me to play it, but it's kind of slow, right? At least at the beginning.
It's a little bit slow. Well, it really depends on the challenges and like how difficult you're making it, like how much the AI will throw at you. But at the beginning, it can be a little bit slow, and it gets a little bit focused on individual people. So, you know, there's only so many big things that can happen. But once it gets later on into the game, it starts getting very hectic, very hectic.
Huh. $30, right? Yeah, 30. You can buy it through their site, so you don't even need to use Steam or anything if you're fearful of stuff like that.
It's not even on Steam. I don't think.
It's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
okay.
it got green. Yeah, he's not run an early access on it, so I'm pretty sure that game got green lit. So it will be out when it's actually done.
He's doing pretty well. He's sold 66,000 units about.
Yeah, I like how he's got that public. That's really interesting.
Not only that, but he's the kind of guy that, you know, you fire him something on Twitter and oh, that's a cool idea, and he throws it in the next update. You know, like he's a really down to earth programmer. His name is Tynan, and it's been a really, really positive experience with him. He's a good example of indie devs not only doing their art correctly, but also their interface with Twitch and things of that nature.
No, this guy knows what he's doing. By starting out the paragraph, inspired by the space western vibe of Firefly. Like, that's probably going to get a pretty good audience right off the bat.
Now I want to play it.
Nah, that game was kickstarted, yeah. I mean, and this guy, I've actually spoken to this guy on shows before. He's actually he's very much an outspoken consumer advocate, and especially over the last 7 months, he's actually gone to bat for people. I have a lot of respect for him. But, like, he did well. That Kickstarter was a 20K Kickstarter. He got $268,000.
Yeah, wow. That's,
And apparently delivered with it, which is more than I can say for Goddess or other games.
But what's really nice about RimWorld is, you know, there's very few games, in my opinion, that you can really thoroughly play and then let weeks to months elapse and go back with the same zeal and enthusiasm that kind of got you into it at the beginning. And I have done that with RimWorld 3 separate times now, and I haven't played it now for over a month. I just, you know, heard my chat went crazy when they heard a RimWorld patch went out, and now here I am being like, okay, when can I do my next RimWorld cast? You know, it's like it's fantastic. And they just introduced drinking and being drunk and inebriation and drunk thinking and thoughts and passing out. So
nice.
All whole new world.
Interesting. Maybe I don't know if this type of game for me, but it does look interesting. We'll have to see. There's some other games that actually got funded this week. You put down Shadowrun Hong Kong, which fucking destroyed its goal.
Oh my god, it did.
Well,
yeah. Turns out
like
if you actually produce a good product, they're willing to fund your next one. And Dragonfall was... I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the original a lot.
Dragonfall was miles better, though, right?
Dragonfall blows that game out of the water. Like, they took all of the complaints and made a much fucking better game. And after that, I think people are like, yeah, I have faith in this company. Which is surprising, because I have over here the other thing they did. This is a Jagari Colossus from their tabletop game, Golem Arcana.
Holy shit, that's really cool.
Sounds cool.
It sounds cool until you look at it, and look at that paint job. It's a piece of shit. Like it is.
This coming from someone who's a Warhammer fanatic, guys. So he knows his models. Yeah,
it's bad. Like,
oh, you're a 40K guy, huh?
Well, I don't play it anymore, but like I love the lore and things like that. But yeah, I was so disappointed in Golem Arcana. Like, it was a really interesting idea. That they had this idea of making a board game, a miniatures kind of board game that they used a digital stylus to interface with an iPad, and it did a lot of the tracking for you, which is a cool idea that some board games are starting to do now. But the quality of the miniatures blows arse. Like, so I was really disappointed with them doing that. But video games, they're pretty good at those, so that's cool.
It's cool, yeah.
So just out of curiosity, for you from a tabletop perspective, the quality of the miniatures can override the game mechanics and enjoyment you get from the game?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Like, really, if you're moving miniatures around, I mean, that's pretty much the game. So if your miniatures look like shit and, like, you're not really willing to display them or anything, yeah, I think that affects it.
Does that same argument translate to video games for you?
I don't think so, because this is a $45 physical item. Like, I think that's a pretty big consideration. Like, miniatures cost money, so I think that the quality of the miniatures is very important when it comes to the level of enjoyment.
Oh, so this isn't the kind of thing where you pay X money and you get all the pieces and then
they charge individually.
Oh, okay.
They charge individually for these things. So yeah, it didn't help that the game wasn't really that interesting in and of itself. Like, it's kind of a basic like square-based tactics game, which is not that fun, honestly. But if it had really good quality miniatures, I'd just be happy to just display them and have them on a shelf. But it doesn't.
TB, do you care for the amiibo bullshit at all? Is that something that interests you?
I only bought amiibos for my kid. Like,
okay.
I
Did
didn't
you see
buy
how much
it.
money they're making on that shit?
Huge amounts, I imagine.
I'm trying to find the article. It was.
They're
recent.
literally selling nothing in plastic. It's great. Like, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Walmart's doing I think this was part of the story too. Walmart's doing like a golden Mario for maybe Easter or something like that.
Looks tacky as shit, that thing. But people will buy it. You know they will.
Yeah.
You mean like real gold? Wait, what is it?
No, it's just like a golden.
But it's not actual gold.
You know what the amiibos are? They're like little fucking bullshit Nintendo things that fucking have sold like a billion.
Yeah.
It's
They
infuriating.
unlock some stuff in game, and you can kind of train them and stuff like Smash Brothers to be AI partners for you.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, but they've sold like 6 million of them so far. And
yeah, I'm trying to find.
If you ask someone what they do, most people couldn't tell you.
My favorite thing was the guy that bought out all of like the Peach, the Yoshi, and like one other person because he hates those characters and he didn't want anyone else to have them. So he would just buy like reportedly
What is
thousands
it with Nintendo
of these
lately?
things
With scalpers,
and like
you know?
burn them and shit. It's so fucking funny.
People scalped all of the new 3DSs as well. You can't get one of those for less than $500 fucking dollars right now. It's ridiculous. Like, in 2015, this still works because apparently Nintendo doesn't produce enough of anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can get the Skylanders thing. Like, my kid plays Skylanders, and if I was his age, I'd absolutely be playing Skylanders.
Did you mess around
that
with
would be my dream game.
Did you check out Disney Infinity at all? Because it's basically the same concept, but
Nah,
I've always wanted to dive into that stuff just to see it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would
Skylanders is
spend
just
too
kind of a
much money.
good game. Like, it's an action RPG, essentially. It's kind of like Diablo, really, with some kind of cool challenges. But I can dig that. Like, the Skylander system is pretty fun. Obviously, it's like a giant waste of money. But if I was that age and Skylanders came out, I would be all over that shit. I used to play with
For us who
Barcode
have no
Battlers.
idea what it is. What is Skylanders?
Really? You
so
don't know
it-
what this shit is? This is
Never heard of
crazy. This makes
That's
like
surprising to me.
this makes like billions of dollars.
Oh,
the
it's
fucking
it's
Toys to Life
it's
thing.
Activision's cash cow. It's making huge amounts of money.
Yeah. So, TB, feel free because you've experienced it firsthand.
I haven't played a huge amount of it. Like, I watched my kid play a little bit of it. It's mostly an action RPG. So, but you use this thing called the Portal of Power to put a figurine on it, and that
physical
figurine,
portal.
yeah, little physical figurine
Like a
comes
coaster.
up in the game. And you can hot swap it as well. Like, you can hot swap in the middle of battle. You can also put items on it to buff your creature up. And it's basically a Diablo game. Like, you just go and beat people up. It's an action RPG, but you do it with these little figurines that you train, and then you buy new figurines to unlock new stuff. And they've done various versions of it.
It's a video game with a marketing component where you have to buy your characters.
Yes.
Yep, and that's where they
exactly
make the
what
money,
It is.
yeah.
It is a giant waste of money. And it is hugely popular because, again, if I was a kid, I would be all over that. That's incredible.
It's like a gigantic fucking cash cow.
Yes.
Skylanders was the
I bet it
first,
is,
I
yeah.
think, right? Skylanders was the creator. Is that? I'm trying to think if there was another game before that was kind of the big.
As far as I know, and this is
No.
coming from the
Skylanders created the genre.
Yeah,
basically.
Skylanders made it, and then Disney jumped in with Disney Infinity, so now they have all their IPs, and I think they just got the Marvel license in there, so you have like all of the Thors and all that shit. And I think they're making one for Star Wars eventually, and like that.
Oh my God, the money!
It's gonna fucking. They're just make. They basically
I'd
just.
probably buy that, just get a little at Walker that I can just put
Yeah.
on the Portal of Power.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Well, here's the gold one. Appears to be the Walmart exclusive. Coming out
that
on
thing,
Easter, alongside Mario Party 10. Fucking.
Yeah.
I want there to be like joke ones. I want there to be like Cheers. Like you get like the Norm amiibo. Like put Norm in there. Like, oh nope, gotta play some Sam. Gotta put Sam the bartender in there. I'd buy that shit.
You have a strange desire, I have to say.
Buy it because it's a joke.
Wow.
It's a
Your
niche
interests
market.
are
Okay?
very singular.
It's niche.
Apparently, Link is in Japan, U.S., Canada, and Europe, the #1 selling amiibo, with Mario being the first in Australia. Why is Mario the first in Australia?
I don't know. I guess they're like fat plumbers in Australia. Who knew?
Kirby's #2. This is actually interesting. Kirby's #2 in Japan. Mario's second in the U.S. Mario in Europe as well. Pikachu's. I figured Pikachu would be like #1 in Japan.
I think it'd be higher up than that.
It's 5th.
That's
Yeah.
racist.
Is that racist?
Maybe people just don't care about Pikachu anymore.
I don't know. It might be racist. I can't decide. Here we go. Nintendo has sold 5.7 million amiibo toys to date.
Christ.
That is, and it's 6 months, less than 6 months that they've been on the market, I think.
No one knows even what they do.
Fucking so much money.
Well, every generation has that. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just on the tail end of Pokemon, but before that, for me, it was Magic, and all the kids I knew, every single one was spending every cent they had buying Magic cards.
Yeah. I don't know.
The interesting thing about Amiibo, I think, is it's got a massive demographic appeal. Like, because there's adults buying a ton of these things as well.
Yeah.
Which
I would say even more
even
so than
Skylanders
kids.
has some of that, but
Beanie Babies.
yeah,
Beanie Babies, yeah.
probably it is this generation's
Kids
Beanie
and
Babies.
adults buying Beanie Babies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Another game that got kickstarted, and then we'll go on to the topic, was Strafe, which actually is 16 hours to go, so it's not, I guess, fully done, but they just passed the goal of 185,000. They're now at 192. I was actually surprised that game took that long to get funded, but I guess they put out like an alpha of it or something for people to play, and that's what bumped them up like 60K in the past couple of hours. Or past
The
couple
main
of
problem
days,
I
rather.
have with that game is that apparently the levels are procedurally generated, and I was hoping that they'd just design really good FPS levels in the classic 90s style, and it looks like they're not doing that. So I'm less interested now in it than I was.
Yeah. We'll see.
I don't know, man. That game just looks absolutely chaotic to me. I mean, it just looks too like that's the kind of thing I can see myself playing for 15 minutes, an hour maybe, and then be like, okay, on to something more serious.
Yeah.
It just seems way too arcadey.
Okay. We'll see. It probably won't come
I'm
out
sure
for some time.
that's a niche for some people though. Some people love that stuff.
Yeah,
so
for
I'm
me,
sure
maybe it was just they put out probably like one of the best Kickstarter trailers I've seen. But it had nothing. It had
their
something to do
trailer
with
was
the game.
amazing.
Had something to do with the game, but it kind of like drew me back into the Quake and Doom ads from print magazine a long time ago, where it's just like gore and like a kid sitting at his computer screen.
Yeah, or naked
So
women.
weird.
Yeah,
I remember there was an ad for Battlecruiser 3000 AD, which is like, it was not a very good video game, but it was literally a woman with her legs spread with a copy of Battlecruiser between her legs, and all it said was, she really wants it. And that was the ad.
Nice.
That was a print ad in the 90s for that game.
Sega had some weird shit too back in the day, where
They
it was
did.
basically just like, I think wasn't there a tennis game or something like that where it was just
Oh,
like
yeah, it was just
a straight up
arse.
upskirt? Yeah,
Yeah.
just in the fucking
pretty
print
much.
mag.
Yep, that is what it was.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Hicks called it like back in the day during his stand-up. he's like, you're just gonna see an ad, naked woman. She's got like just naked spread eagle. And it's like, drink Coke is all I was gonna say. You know,
I'm like, okay, I might consider
Maybe
that.
maybe
Your
we'll-
argument
I
is
would
compelling.
consider your product, indeed.
Exactly. Co, is there anything else news related that you want to hit on?
There's a couple good Kickstarters that are coming down the pipeline. The Ultima, or not Ultima, Underworld Ascension. God, what's it called? It's the remake of the old.
Ultimate Underworld, yeah.
Is it Ultima Underworld? Is that what it is? I don't remember. It's a $600,000. I actually pledged to it. It's coming up. It's got like 480 of 600,000. If it comes back,
Yeah,
they're
15
like
days ago.
they're bringing the entire thing back from the shelf. So that should be a lot of fun. I think we have a link for that somewhere.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm
besides
looking at
that, not too many other big ones right now. Not too much. Been a pretty quiet week.
it. Yeah, been a quiet week, so thank God. Thank God. It'll get crazy, I'm sure. All right, well, let's jump into our topic of the week, and that is YouTubers on Twitch. It's the reason we brought John in here, because he can give us kind of a unique perspective, as you stream on Twitch, but it's not necessarily something that you've kind of, as other YouTubers have, become a full-time thing for you, correct?
Yeah, some people have done the whole full-time thing, but it doesn't suit my kind of content. Like, if you're a gameplay guy that's really either let's playing or is diving into a game like H1Z1, is creating all of their moments that way, I can definitely see why I'd want to be on Twitch and not on YouTube. but the content that we produce on the channel is very much standalone. So if I want to make a critique, I'm not going to do it on Twitch. It's like Twitch is a nice supplemental way of maybe getting a bit extra gameplay out there. I've started doing that. Like I do a research on Twitch. Like if I have a new game, I'll sometimes go on Twitch to stream it because maybe the chat notices something I don't. They can help form my opinion, that kind of thing. But regularly, no. I mean, it's all about the YouTube content creation. It really is. Like that's where the real money is for me.
So I guess the blunt question is, and I think a lot of people see maybe people that are looking to stream or people that are just starting streaming, they see these YouTubers with these giant audiences come over to Twitch, and immediately they get the sub button and the money just starts coming in. Is that pretty much like, is that what you saw when you first came over to Twitch, was like an instant gain of monetary value for just being live? Was that kind of how it was?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously the subscription thing is a very tempting feature for a lot of YouTubers because we don't have it. We just recently got a sort of donation button thing. But
yeah. Is that live, by the way?
Yeah, it's live for some people in some countries. Okay. I have it, but I don't promote it ever. Yeah. So it's basically worthless at that point. But I don't really want to promote it, frankly, because it's not part of our business model. Like we make money through ads, and we make money through subscription, and we try and provide value for the subscribers on Twitch. So that's kind of where our main lines of revenue are coming from. So it makes little sense to ask for donations as well. On top of that, I think it's a bit cheeky because we're making good money anyway. We don't need it. So I think that people should be saving their money to give it to people that do actually need it to support themselves, but they can't just live off ads. But I mean, our YouTube channel is large enough that we can live very well off ads. But the subscription system is a nice bonus, and we were one of the first guys to get the sub button. I think, if I recall correctly, we were actually the ones that suggested custom sub badges because I wanted a battle cruiser for my badge.
From back in the day, yeah. Is that still your badge?
Yep, still my badge. Okay, it used to be everyone just had a star. That used to be the default thing that you get for subscribers. But
still
now,
is, I think,
yeah, and we made it a feature. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I stream from time to time. It's good for the podcast because the live audience interaction is enjoyable. Although you've got to always watch out because if you do too much live audience interaction, then your content becomes kind of shoddy for YouTube because that interaction isn't there. Right. So you end up referring to things that people can't see, which is bad content and bad presentation style.
Yep, I'm running into that. Yeah.
We found we do some highlight reels from Twitch streams. That works pretty well. Like, if you can highlight the best moments, edit it, and put it on YouTube, people like that.
And Zeke and Co, feel free to take the convo wherever you guys want to jump in. Don't let me lead the conversation. But in regarding the highlights, I think that's something that we've actually seen. I guess we'll refrain from using names for streamers, but you guys could probably put two and two together. A lot of the YouTubers have now actually done exactly that with the highlights, and that's kind of become the main focus of their stream. And they're not even really putting any effort to it, and I'm very guilty of this too, where you just literally export it from Twitch, you put a thumbnail on it, and that's kind of the YouTube thing.
That's my YouTube, JP.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
YouTube.
Full-time
I don't do YouTube content, and I have 10,000 followers on YouTube, and I put up videos every day. But none of it's for YouTube.
Right.
It's a way of double dipping, which is fine. But I think that if you want to be very successful on YouTube, you have to create content that caters to YouTube, and Twitch content doesn't. Twitch content is raw. It's designed to be watched for hours at a time with others. Like, it's a spectator event for a lot of people. That's why the chat community exists.
And that's why it's difficult to upload, like for Twitch people, because this is full time, like 40+ hours a week that
you can't just dump that content on YouTube and expect it to do well. It won't.
Yeah, not only that, but there's 10 more hours, I'm guessing, at least per week of if I wanted to edit the video,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to if you want to start putting more effort into it,
editing does take a while, yeah.
If you want 100% proof in action of what you're talking about, I put most of my stuff on YouTube in two forms, just past broadcasts and highlights. And my highlights, on average, get anywhere from 10 to 50 times the view as my, hours-long segments. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people watch those. In fact, I get messages frequently of people saying, hey, thanks for putting that stuff on YouTube. I can't watch you during the day. I love that I can go into work and watch your broadcast. That's great. but there's no question that it's like 10 to 50x at
Sure,
times.
and the retention is probably complete dog shit on those longer videos.
Yeah,
too.
I imagine
yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
they're not going to
absolutely.
stick around, and that's going to affect your CPM and your bottom line as
Yeah.
well. There's several unofficial channels that upload my gameplay live streams. I basically gave blanket permission because I had no interest in. I mean, if I want to do a highlight reel of it, then I'll do a highlight reel, and that doesn't really affect. Like, if someone uploads my stream, it doesn't affect it because people will watch the highlights because it's much better content. Outside of that, like if I do a random Hearthstone stream just because I feel like it, someone will upload it to YouTube, and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I don't want it on my channel because the image of the channel is really important, and if you start flooding your channel with stuff, then people will stop caring. Like, you'll be wasting your time. On YouTube, there's a lot of diminishing returns. So if you put out more than 1 to 2 videos a day, you'll notice that your views start to drop because people don't have the time or the inclination, and they get really pissy if you flood their sub box. Like, they'll actually unsubscribe from you if you do that. So you want to create, I mean, for me right now, the way that I aim is to do is 2 videos 6 days a week is my plan. I can't do that right now because of the medical stuff. But if I get I want one good piece of content out every day. And I want people to just go watch that. And that one piece of content is enough to just live on easy.
That's kind of the sweet spot then for you, huh?
Right now, yeah. I mean, I'd say 2 pieces of content a day, depending on what kind it is.
And what
like,
length are those? Like 40 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, about 40 minutes of video a day, maybe, is about the sweet spot. Sometimes I'll go more than that. Obviously, like podcast day, that's a 3-hour show.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show. Right.
And you always notice that with the podcast, it gets a lot of views, but it's a lot slower. Like, it builds gradually up.
Sure.
Like, it takes a while to get the number of views. Whereas, like, the Evolve video that I put out 2 days ago has 340,000 views. And that was a 40-minute video. And that happened, it got most of those views in the first 24 hours. And it'll be evergreen. Like, this will stick around. I put out a DLC video yesterday. It has 278,000 views, and that was in a day. So that you'll get that big spike in the first 24 hours. But then the thing is, the video sits there just making you money in the background. Like, because YouTube is much better monetized for VODs than Twitch is.
Well, it's actually monetized.
Yes. Yeah. Twitch VODs are bullshit.
Twitch VOD system is fucking terrible. And
it's
they know
terrible.
it, but yeah.
I mean, not only is it bad to search, but it's not well monetized. YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the planet.
Yeah.
Behind Google.
Yeah.
And Google owns both of them.
Yeah.
So they're both very similar. So if you're big on YouTube, you're also big on Google, and vice versa. That's important. And discoverability is what you get from YouTube. People will stumble upon you. You still get that on Twitch. Like, I'll go on Twitch and I'll find a person because I'm like, hey, I feel like watching a Darkest Dungeon stream, and I'll stumble across someone's stream because Twitch lists kind of the top 10 games. But on YouTube, related videos, the network, the ecosystem behind that is so strong.
Yeah.
You can end up getting like 25% plus of your views just from people that literally found you through somebody else.
And
you didn't do anything to do that.
YouTube's actually kind of had an issue with that, with tagging, to where don't they actually take certain offense against your channel if they're like false tags on your videos?
I've heard of people getting suspended from YouTube for using a lot of false tagging. Yeah, because they'll copy people's tags to try and get higher.
Let's be honest, Husky made his channel with that back in the day. He tagged with like Tasteless Artosis, like all those people on his channel in the tags of his StarCraft content. So.
Well, I mean, he had games with Tasteless Artosis, so it was fair, you know.
Yeah, kind of.
Everyone kind of overreaches with tags a little bit. Like, they meta tag in such a way that...
It's a weird system, too.
It casts the net just a little bit wider, you know? And it's fine for the most part, although it does... When people start pretending to be you, that becomes a problem.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
As of just a quick question, as a full-time YouTuber, like how many hours a week do you spend doing your job?
I'd say like when I'm well, not now obviously because I'm taking it a lot easier. I'd say probably 70, 80 hours a week.
Really?
Like, yeah, I mean, a lot of in order to create a video, like think about like how let's say Evolve, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at like Evolve. What did it take to make that video? Well, it took about 12 hours of gameplay, none of which is monetized. So if I was on Twitch, I could have streamed all of that gameplay.
Is there a reason? Is it just?
Right now, it's tiredness.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
can't do
figured.
It's the same reason I don't do Dark Heresy with you right now. I can't sit on a 4-hour show. It's exhausting for me right now.
Right.
Because of the constant fatigue. But when I'm better, I'll be doing a lot more of that because it's like, why not use that gameplay in such a way that it makes you a bit extra dosh on the side? Like, why not? Because you get to stream your thought process. You also learn a bit. because sometimes there are people in chat that know more about the game than you do. So you can learn things that you otherwise
and they'll
wouldn't.
tell you right off the bat.
They will. I mean, we played Evolve together a few times, JP, and Sacriel taught me a lot about that game, and that information was used in the video. But anyway, kind of back to the point. So that's 12 hours of gameplay. Then I'll do the actual take of the video. And I might fuck it up, which means I'll probably do it again. So that's like a 40-minute live take most of the time is how I do it. Then there'll be some editing. There's very little. For WTF I don't edit most of the time unless it's for brevity. Most of the time, I just let it go as it is. Then there's encoding time. 40-minute 1080p 60 FPS video probably takes about 3 hours to encode at really good quality. And then there's the upload
double
time.
Pass? That's two pass?
That's double pass. Yeah, I double pass all my videos. That's why it takes as long as it does. And then upload time, which is probably like 5-6 more hours. And then tagging, promotion, thumbnails. So overall, like if the Evolve video takes like 18 to 20 hours.
Now, when you're talking about encoding and uploading stuff, that you're not constantly doing stuff during that time.
No. So it's not like everything's locked down. Like I set the encode and then I go to bed. So it's literally not 20 hours of work.
Okay.
It's 20 hours of time that a video like WTF's Evolve actually requires to create.
Gotcha.
But then there are like videos which are a lot shorter. Like the Hearthstone, for instance, I just sit down and record. I'll cut a lot of games out of that, or I'll just like drop a deck because it's doing really badly. So there's a lot of like wasted content hours with videos like Hearthstone, because they won't come into anything. And like if I'm looking at a game, for instance, for WTF and I just decide, you know what, I can't even form a good opinion on this. I'll junk it. So that's like 5-6 hours of wasted research time right there. So a lot of it is behind the scenes stuff. Like you put out 40 minutes of content, there's probably been a lot more work put behind that. So yeah, that's why like 70-80 hours a week is realistic. If I'm doing my 2 pieces of content 6 days a week, 70-80 hours is probably reasonable.
Makes sense.
That's what I mean. Before I started streaming, streaming full time, like I had a full time job that was 50, and then I would stream 30, just because to get it going and stuff like that. So totally, understand that.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it earlier in terms of growing both at the same time, being a full time Twitch streamer and also trying to grow a YouTube channel. From your perspective, TB, as someone who's a full time YouTuber, is that something that people should reach for, or should they just focus on one? Like, what would be your advice there?
So what I would say to people is if you get to a certain size on Twitch where you can afford to hire an editor, do it. Because this is the advice that I gave to Trump a long time ago. So we went to BlizzCon, was it last year? The year before.
Yeah.
We met there because I did the first... I cast the first Hearthstone tournament, and I was terrible at it, and I'll never do it again. I promise, guys. Don't worry. You'd never have to hear me casting Hearthstone again. I'm terrible. So we went there, and a lot of the players were there. Like Trump was there, Harfu was there, Crip was there, and we got talking about YouTube because they were asking for advice. It's like, I stream. Should I be on YouTube as well? I'm like, yeah. And the first thing that you should do is understand that content that comes from Twitch is not necessarily suitable on its own to go on YouTube. So you've got to, but the thing is you can transform it. Like you can use the unique audience of YouTube in an advantageous way. And what I said to Trump was, what if you had an editor that could edit out like the opponent's turn and could like edit for brevity, like because you're silent quite a lot on your stream. Like you'll sit there for 20 seconds just thinking.
Right.
Edit that out. That doesn't need to be there. Get someone to do that. Like pay them either a percentage of the ad revenue or pay them a fixed rate per video or per month. And get them to edit your videos into something usable. And what happened with Trump is he started series. He has like a series called Trump Cards. It's him playing on stream. He's using the same content, but it's edited. So it's much easier to watch. It's not like 3 hours of Hearthstone. It's 30 minutes of Hearthstone. It's more digestible. It's the same content in a different format. Crip did it a different way. I actually love the way Crip does it. So Crip uses games from his stream, but before it, he does a vlog on a subject. So he actually puts 2 pieces of content together. He'll do a talk about a particular topic. So let's go to Crip's channel. And what we see on Crip's channel is he makes a bunch of stuff. Like he has compilations. Like he has Arena Fail Compilation 3. That's going to do really well. It's 128,000 views in 2 days. Everyone loves to see highlights. That's your classic highlight reel. But then he has a video called How Mad Are Bombers? And the gameplay is a bunch of Mad Bomber gameplay. But the first half of it is him talking about the Mad Bomber cards. And it's a vlog where he'll put the cards up on the screen and he'll talk about it. And then he'll show gameplay from his stream to demonstrate his point. So half of his video is something he already made, but he's turning it into something new.
That's
that video
actually smart as shit.
130,000 views in 3 days. You can get over 100,000 views on a video on YouTube. That's going to make some bank.
Yeah.
That makes good money. So those were the things that I recommended.
Too, which is the funny thing.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't recommend any of this to Crip. Crip came up with this on his own, but I recommended the stuff to Trump, and he followed that. And Trump is now not only one of the most popular Hearthstone streamers, he's one of the most popular Hearthstone YouTube channels. But guess who he's behind? The highlight reel channels. They're the most popular ones. There is no player that is as popular as Hearth Trollden and Hearth Funny. What do they do? Yeah, they're popular. Trollden's videos, holy fucking shit. 6 days ago, he put up Funny and Lucky Moments, episode 89, 548,000 views.
Holy shit.
He gets anywhere between 500,000 to 1 million views per video, and it's a highlight reel of other people's stream stuff. Obviously, they give him permission to do it.
Yeah,
it's really good promotion.
That's sketchy, but yeah, of course.
It's good. No, it's a good synergy, because if you do a cool thing on Trollden's video, people go watch your stream because he'll tell you where to go. So I got a benefit from Trollden, and Trollden gets benefit from me when he posts anything that I do.
That's actually insane views for his sub count.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of traction on the Battle.net sub forums, and he has a lot of traction on Reddit, which gives him a lot of that. But yeah, his sub count compared to his view count is actually insane. You generally don't see that, but it's a channel of highlights and that's maybe one of the best examples of how to take footage from YouTube, from Twitch, and turn it into something that's YouTube friendly.
Sure, and that can be applied. That was Hearthstone specific right there, but that can be applied to. If you're streaming a lot of H1Z1, that game is very hot and cold.
Moments.
But yeah, crazy moments right there. Just throw them in there and actually have a highlight, and it'll do pretty good.
It will. So
as someone who has almost absolutely no presence on YouTube, I've been approached by people who have offered me, they say, "Oh, I'll set up your YouTube channel. I'll edit videos and that kind of stuff." I've always been scared of that because I don't want to be taken advantage of. By somebody else, and plus I don't have the skill as far as editing goes. I don't know how to do any of this. Would you recommend getting someone you trust or doing it yourself?
Well, it comes down to time.
Right.
Do you think you've got the time to do both? Because editing is not hard. Editing is just time consuming.
Often, going through 8 hours of a broadcast, that's what I'm saying, and taking it down to 1 hour maybe, or 2, 3 20-minute chunks.
Yeah, the thing is that if you're the streamer, you probably know where the best bits were. So I have a guy that does some edits for me. He's my PR guy. He does a little bit of editing. I do the vast majority of my own editing.
Christian actually does everything.
Chris makes logos.
You got so
for you.
fucking lucky with Chris. I'm just throwing out there. I'm kind of jelly.
Yeah, you can't have him. I'm sorry. You can contract him out, but you can't have him. He's on my full-time payroll. You fuck off. But he is great. He learned how to edit, and he's a graphic designer as well. So he can edit and put in cool graphic stuff. So I had him when I was playing a lot of Dota on stream. I was doing nightly Dota streams for a while. And then I kind of got a bit sicker and kind of couldn't do it. And I intend to start again. I'm coming back to Dota. I'm going to beat Perian Flax's MMR, and he's going to be miserable because I have a 10th of his games, and I'm at his MMR level. Yeah, going to get him. But I had Chris edit my VODs, and he made highlight reels of Dota, and they were pretty popular. It was worth doing, honestly. It's the kind of thing on YouTube anyway. If you have a Twitch audience, you can start to push people to YouTube because people like to relive your highlights. Start with highlights. It's always the best way to do it. And then think about ways that you can transform your content into something different. You could do a weekly roundup, for instance. Yeah. It's hey, these are the games I've been playing this week. You can do a bit of post-production. You could do some commentary and post instead.
I will say, as someone who's done that, something similar to that, the first time will always take billion times longer than it actually will take in the future. So
yeah.
If you get a little bit disheartened because it took 5 hours to make a video like that, eventually you'll get into the workflow where you can do it in an hour.
So you start to create templates.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Content Patch is a show that we do that looks very fancy. It's really just a set of overlays. Like you can do so much with overlays. You can look at drop frames right now. This is 4 people on shitty webcams. It looks quite nice because it's got a nice overlay that Chris made for you.
Yep.
You know, it looks good. So you really actually have to do bare minimum to get production values going on either Twitch or YouTube. You've just got to be snazzy about it. You've got to make something that looks pleasant. And you can use a lot of raw content to make it. And
it's kind
Twitch,
of an interesting.
Twitch produces tons of raw content.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting though, because there's like this. It's almost like a one way, because as a Twitch streamer, you're quote unquote working when you're online, when you're streaming. That's what you're doing. Yep. So anytime, and generally for most streamers like myself, you know, that schedule is dictated by your real life's availability. Like, you've got other stuff you need to do. You stream when you can in a lot of cases, unless you're JP and you're just lazy about it. But it's the kind of thing where when you start going, and I actually tried this at the beginning, because just like Zeke was talking about, because Zeke, you're where I am like just a few months ago, where I'm sitting here going, okay, I need to get something going on with my YouTube. I don't really have any go-to people. I don't have people I can just go to and be like, hey, what do I do? You know, I want you to do this. So I sat down and tried to look at it myself. There's no question that I knew if I would have sat there for hours, learned the hotkeys, learned the commands, where to click, to drag, to do the different windows. There's no question I would have gotten all that down. But there's also no question as I looked at this that I was like, this is going to cut into my streaming time. Like, this is going to affect my stream. Where YouTubers, like you guys, everything you produce, you know, from the content creation standpoint, there's this magic 2 words. All of that's your job. So it's like when you come to Twitch, you already have this foundation of skills that's going to complement everything you're doing. Where if you start on Twitch and you want to do to YouTube, all of a sudden you're talking about having to cut into your time. Like, it's not nearly as easy a progression. Now, going into why I'm talking about all this, Zeke, what I did was I put out a call. I said, look, here's my situation. I actually said it on stream. I broke it down. I was like, I want to do more on my YouTube. I can't do it myself. I want you, if you're interested in a paid position, to mail me everything you can do for my YouTube. Show me links to stuff you've done. Show me videos you've made. Tell me how you're going to do it, and tell me why I should give you money for it. And sure enough, that was 3 months ago. And over the last few months, I've found 2 phenomenal helpers, an artist and an editor, Red Eye Monster and Triwar. And now everything I do is going on YouTube. I don't have to do anything. They make thumbnails. Every single thing has its own little intro graphic with episode number, and it's awesome. And I get to go and do my whole streaming thing without having to worry about it at all.
Yeah. The biggest and most important thing for me, like, I know there's tons of people who can do this, but it's working out payment for the person doing it. Like, do you do a percentage? Do you do a lump?
Like, well, it's all going to determine on work. Like, how much do you want them to do? What do you want to put on there? Like with me and my guys, we said, okay, let's do it from. Well, it really depends again on how much time they're spending on it. Like, if somebody's just taking your highlights and throwing them on YouTube after doing a few little croppings, that's 3 button clicks, for every highlight. What is that? $5 a highlight, maybe, for them, because that's how much they're putting into it. If they're editing stuff, combining things, if you go to your YouTube guy, he gives you a quality ass video with great transitions and stuff, and he goes, I worked 3 hours on that. Well, that's probably a $30 to $50 to maybe even $100. Like, that's where you start talking about this stuff. But as long as you make all of it clear at the very beginning, what you're looking for, what you're willing to pay, and talk about maxes if that's a concern for you. Hey, I'm not going to pay this much per vid. Hey, I'm not going to pay you this much per month. So don't think you can just spend 100 hours and I'll pay you. That's all stuff that, just like any business transaction, just work that out ahead of time. And you'd be surprised how many extremely talented people in your community would love to help you with this.
The other thing, too, to ask, does YouTube, because Twitch has some, but does YouTube have, like, editors and moderator status at all so you can hide revenue? Or is it all open?
It's all open. Like, it's a really bad system. Like, if you need someone you can trust.
That's the other thing, is that they can see what you're earning on a monthly basis. So you gotta be careful of that.
Yeah, you do have to watch out for that. It is difficult to do that. And the other way, if you don't want them to do that, is just they send you the video and then you run your channel. It's not that hard to maintain a channel as long as you have the content. It's a bit fiddly. You upload, you have to tag, you got a thumbnail, but if they're producing your thumbnail, you just throw it in on the upload file, put your titles, organize your playlists. It's really not that hard to keep a channel running. So that's the safest way to do it. Use Dropbox. Dropbox has been essential for us. Like, we have automatic upload set through Dropbox. I encode overnight. My encoder then spits the video into my Dropbox. My Dropbox then uploads to my editor, and my editor just does the upload at that point while I'm still asleep.
Is there a reason why you use Dropbox over Google Docs?
It's just the sync is just way better.
Really? Okay.
The syncing is essential.
And everything is top.
Dropbox syncing is amazing.
Gotcha.
It's fast, it's efficient, and I can automate a lot of my process. So I can do. It's about using your time effectively. Like, why would I use encoding time during the day when I can use it at night when I'm asleep?
Right.
So my encoder automatically transfers to the Dropbox, and then my guy, who's Chris, who is like 6 hours ahead of me, gets up at the right time. He already has the video in his Dropbox because it's synced to him. So he then just uploads it to YouTube.
A lot of it is workflow as well. Is the number one thing.
Yeah, it's about organizing your workflow,
time saving, and if you're going to do both, it's really down to like having an efficient workflow, so you're not spending ample amount of time devoted to one thing when you don't have to be. It's really a big step.
It really is. Now, I mean, when it comes to things like cuts, like, and how much you're making, like, you might want to think, if you're diving into YouTube for first kind of thing, you might want to consider it an investment, and that you're not going to make money right away. But in the long term, if you build up a strong YouTube channel, it feeds right back into your Twitch. Prime example, look at how many viewers the stream has right now. Now, this is more than your show usually gets, JP, right?
Yeah, by about... We usually average 7K peak, so about 13K more, yeah.
So we managed to get 13,000, 14,000 more viewers. How do we do that? Well, social media is part of it, but I'll tell you what the big driver is. There's a video up on my channel right now that says go watch the stream.
Yeah.
Now, if you build a YouTube channel with its own audience, you can use your YouTube channel to drive people back to your Twitch and vice versa. So you tell people on Twitch, hey, go watch the highlights on my YouTube channel. Yeah. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a really reliable way of pushing viewers to a stream that's going on right now because it goes out to all the subscribers in their sub box.
You can even do it involuntary with the Twitch pop-up bullshit
thing. That's not as effective because one, it's blockable, but it's nice. It's nice to have it anyway. Yeah. An announcement video
also, it triggers that the person isn't live, and it says that the person's live regardless, which is really misleading.
Oh, that's really damn annoying.
Yeah, which is bad. Yeah. But hey, one thing... Well, going back to what you were saying, though, TV, I was floored today. I mean, you just go, okay, guys, I'm going to do a quick promo. And then you did like a 20-second promo. And then like 10 seconds later, like, okay, it's on YouTube. Like the amount of time between thought and implementation, I thought it took much longer to get all that kind of stuff
planned out. Just knowing the system or knowing the program.
Do it. Like, you do
that makes me start
often.
wondering if I should do that every time I start streaming in the morning. Just like blast a quick movie out.
I mean, pretty much like Gold Glove.
I'm streaming that day.
YouTubers that do it effectively, that do exactly that. Like Gold Glove puts a video up. It's the same video for every stream that he does. Gassy does it as well. Gassy Mexican.
Yeah.
I
generally would never do the same video. It has diminishing returns. Like, it really does. If people see the same thing with the same thumbnail, they're less likely to click it. So use a different image every time. Do a custom thing every time. I do have some saved promos that I use for very common streams, but I make like 3 or 4 different promos with different thumbnails, and I'll upload different ones because people will see something new in the sub box. If they see something the same, they're less likely to click it. So you do have to just bear that in mind. But yeah, I mean, it is an effective way of driving traffic. I wouldn't do it too often. You've got to be a little bit careful.
Because you're going to piss off the people that don't care about your stream, right?
It'd be like sending out sub messages all the time. It'd be harassing.
You don't want to do it on a daily basis. Like, I think that's the problem that you maybe run into if you create a YouTube channel from a Twitch starting point, is that if you use that technique too often, it becomes less effective. For me, because we do irregular streams, it's a very effective method of driving traffic.
Yeah.
But building your YouTube channel is going to increase your discoverability because people are going to find you and then they'll find your stream that way. If you don't have a base on YouTube, you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're relying on Twitch's discoverability only.
Which is shit.
Which is not very good.
That's what I was about to say. It's fucking terrible. Like, the only way you get noticed on Twitch is if, one, you catch that top spot on a game at an odd hour, which is probably one of the best ways to grow, really. And second is if you randomly get hosted by someone that's randomly browsing streams.
Yeah. Some people think that the Twitch front page is a big deal. It really isn't. Like, you don't
get... It's not that. As someone who's on it a lot, you get, like, it's flash viewers. You'll spike up, like, 4,000 viewers. Yeah, and then they'll just go to another channel right away.
Also, a big problem with the front page is it's counting every single person that's coming to Twitch already with other things in mind to do.
Right.
So they load up twitch.tv. They've already clicked off somewhere, but they just added to your...
the numbers are false.
That could be, like, 50 to 80% of your viewers. It does... front page follow ratios are abysmal. Like it doesn't. It's like nothing else on Twitch.
Yeah, you don't really retention wise. It's terrible front page, but there's like that's one of the things that I think Twitch is definitely good. I hope that they're working on is like the front page, and they even have improved it vastly from what it once was. It's still pretty terrible when it comes to finding who you want to actually find or discovering someone who's of your interest on Twitch.
Game top lists are much better for that.
Exactly.
Like,
I think that's probably the best thing Twitch has done in a long time.
Oh my God. I was like, game topless?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's a whole other thing entirely.
Game topless on Twitch. That's my advice. I'm just going to get everyone banned. It's going to be great.
Twitch.tv/game topless.
Not even males can take their shirt off anymore.
No, you're not allowed to anymore. You're not allowed to see that sweet man hair. I like skirting the rules.
Yeah,
guys.
TB's always the
I'm a rebel.
Yeah.
They can't fire me. I'll quit.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's the game top lists are a huge deal, and their discoverability from the top lists is really the way to go. And hell, if you can push a game onto the front page on your own, ooh, you'll get a lot out of that because people will see a game that's unfamiliar. Like right now, Grim Fandango's on there with 14,000 viewers. That's because of Rocket Beans, who are obviously very popular. But people are going to click that just out of curiosity because they don't see that game very often.
Yep, that's very true. And
I
think
myself doing the same thing. Like if I see a game that like, what the fuck is that game doing on the front page? You know, and I'll click it. You know?
I like to play the guessing game as to who it was that actually put it there.
Yeah.
And it's like there's usually about 5 or 6 people that can put it there.
Back in the day when we did State of the Game, and I think you did this for Co-optional as well, we would just choose random games just to throw them up to the top of the list.
Back then. It wasn't a category. Yeah, so we just picked like Barbie's Horse Adventure 3 and just put that on the front page.
It was great. And Twitch was such a weird thing back then because like back then follower count didn't matter. Like it didn't mean anything. Today it means something, maybe more, definitely more than it did back then. But yeah, Twitch was a weirder place if you can believe that back in the days. So
yeah, I would recommend to everyone to have a presence on YouTube. Like consider if you want to invest time. Consider if you want to try and hire someone. If you're going to hire someone, there are plenty of people that are willing to do it at a fairly low rate because either they're at college, they need a little bit extra money, they want stuff on their resume because they're actually doing editing at college, or they want to get into editing. And you can also just pay them either a percentage or a lot of your actual money. I hear that like some of the big guys, they give a lot of their rev share on YouTube to their editor, and they just value the presence that their channel has in growing their stream. That's a valid way of doing it, but just consider it sometimes that it is going to be an investment. You're not going to make money immediately from it. But I think that in the long term, you absolutely should have a YouTube presence. YouTube isn't going anywhere. A lot of people have said, oh, well, Twitch is going to kill YouTube. Not a chance. They're two different kinds of content. You can do both, and you can be very successful at both. And they feed into each other if you do it right. YouTube's never going away. At least a service like YouTube isn't going away. You're going to have something like that all the time.
They're very different too, and I have to just as a small segue. It's very interesting sometimes because there's like little mannerisms that are assumed on Twitch and assumed on YouTube that I don't think carry over very well, and sometimes it can lead to some potential friction. Like one thing, for instance, that is very common. Well, it's not really common on YouTube, but one of the things that on YouTube you really go into your content, you get out there as much as possible. Promote it. And so from a YouTuber's point of view, if they come on Twitch and they run, their past VODs, they just run a bunch of replays, that probably makes perfect sense in their eyes. But here on Twitch, if you notice, very few broadcasters run replays.
Right.
And that's because people on Twitch understand if you're running a replay, you're basically, everyone that's under you for whatever game you're replaying is getting kind of screwed because your channel's taking all the viewers and you're not running live content. It's it's an issue. So if you look around, some streamers do it and some streamers do it under certain situations, but most streamers do not run replay content. But
that's mostly esports that does replays.
That's true. It's mostly esports and stuff. But here's the thing: we've had YouTubers coming over now. In fact, some of them with big names. And it's like most of the stuff they'll broadcast on Twitch is replays. It's like they're using Twitch as a YouTube, and it's really strange because that's what
I don't think it's the right way to do it. Like
I agree completely. And the worst part is when these people do this, they are screwing these lower end streamers because, like for instance, there's some people that tend to do this more often, and they do it in very hype games, and they do it at off hours. And those off hours, whenever I'm talking about new streamers and about the importance of positioning and putting your stream where new viewers are, time slot important, stuff like that, these guys are walking in and completely screwing these new guys, and they're already like big YouTubers. So it's like shooting, the whole process is getting gummed up, and there's haywire in the machine. And
the thing is, too, the number of concurrents that they have is much smaller than, like, their followers already don't watch it because it's not live, but it's still like 2,000 or 3,000 more than in the next streamer right behind him, right? So I can see how that's super damaging to growth, to new streamers on Twitch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the difference between having a, you finally pegged it, you finally got your channel after a year plus of work to, the 200-ish thing, and you look at a list of games, and, the guy that's been working his ass off for a year on Twitch only is at 250, and the replayer ahead of him is at 1250. And if that replayer wasn't there, that little guy, that would be his break. That would be his push to the next level, which is really how you transverse. And you go through Twitch by hitting these big games. And you get you move up a tier, and then you kind of go from that tier to another one, and you hope that your natural attrition doesn't disappear before your next tier. That's basically the whole thing.
But how is it different from instead of running a new episode of something on television, like just use Seinfeld for example, like Seinfeld's time slot, they don't have a new episode, they're gonna run reruns, and they're still killing the other competition even though it's a rerun. I mean, is that morally wrong of them to do that?
Well, no, it's not morally wrong. Like, you're under no obligation to come to Twitch and be considerate to other streamers. They're your competition.
It's kind of gross.
Crush them.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
mean, it's fine.
Mannerisms. It's not rules. They're not breaking rules. And just like TB pointed out, lots of people do replays, especially the big guys, and that's fine. There's nothing in Twitch rules about it. It's mannerisms. It's lay of the land. When you first come to Twitch and you start streaming, you don't know that you're not supposed to just drop your link in other channels. You do it a few times, get banned, and you're like, oh, you're not supposed to do this on Twitch. This is Twitch etiquette.
To be fair, you're a dumbass if you think that's okay. Like, I
exactly.
can't
Well,
imagine people come like, advertising in this channel is a great idea, and they're totally going to be okay with it. Like, no.
It's like standing up during a movie and saying, hey, let's go watch another movie. Yeah, it's asinine in the extreme. But the point is that people don't think or know about this stuff until a lot of the trial by fire. So it's not that it's illegal. It's that, and I'm sure the people that do this, it's not like they're thinking, yeah, I want to screw the little guys. They just don't know. They're going, I want to grow my channel as much as I can, so I'm going to do this.
And to play devil's advocate for that, why should they care if they're screwing the other guys? It doesn't matter. They're the competition.
Maybe that's the point of view. Exactly. But
I would hold that. I would hold that point of view. Honestly, I would. Like, it's sometimes it's unfair, but ultimately, like, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you have the right to make money through streaming. Like, a lot of us got popular kind of randomly, and yes, of course, we worked on it for a long time, but we got popular through a random confluence of events that we probably didn't deserve, and we just kind of tried to maintain our popularity from there on in. And ultimately, it's capitalism. People are going to watch what they're going to watch. If you want to convince people not to watch some other guy's reruns, then do better content than him.
Would you say that that coming from a YouTube standpoint, that because Twitch is YouTube seems a very solitary thing, whereas Twitch is more of a community, more of a networking, more of like, go watch this guy's channel, he's live right now, or go watch this channel, they're going on. I recommend these guys. Like, that happens all the time, whereas YouTube seems like a very solitary thing, and you're not promoting other people's channels on your channel.
There's actually a lot of cross-promotion. YouTube, one of the biggest ways to grow on YouTube is through cross-promotional collaboration. A huge amount of it. It's generally done through cross-promo videos. It's not really done through, hey, just go watch this guy's channel. But, like, box for box used to be a huge thing, like, years ago. Put me in your sub-box, like, list of recommended channels, and I'll put you in mine. Used to be huge. A lot of people built up that way. It's less of the case now. I think just because they redesigned YouTube in such a way that it maybe just wasn't as great to work in that respect. But yeah, box for box, sub for sub used to be massive on YouTube.
I still remember back in the early days of Dark Heresy when I was like probably 30 or 40,000 subs on YouTube.
We did cross promo for that.
Yeah, I would give you the first hour.
I'd post the first hour.
And then after that, I think you were actually just linking straight from the videos in your upload section, because they utilized that pretty recently, YouTube did. And that was immense growth. But obviously, I mean, you got to think about 1.4 or whatever you were at, like 1.2 million subs to 100,000 or to a 40,000 sub channel. Like, that's going to be a giant influx of subs. But things like that are definitely ways to grow if you can swing that.
Collab is a huge thing that people should do all the time. I mean, the Co-optional podcast is exactly that. Like, we give people a platform to promote their channels on in return for them coming and helping us provide 3 hours of content. And often, like, showing up on the Co-optional podcast is a big benefit to the guest.
Yeah.
But it's a benefit to us as well, because we want fresh people on all the time. And we want a bit of their audience too. And we'll get it. And maybe it's just 50 people. But that's 50 people we didn't have previously. So we keep going, we keep going, we keep working with other people. And I mean, I've seen some of that on Twitch, but it seems to be like, actually, you do a lot less of that. Like, you'll do hosting, and hosting is very recent. Channel raids are very recent. It's more of a kind of down and dirty community thing. Like, I think you mentioned, Co, that it's more of it's almost like a culture.
Channel raids came from Justin TV.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's more like a culture of things, whereas on YouTube it became a business years ago. Collaborations, I mean, hell, there are some channels that ask you to pay for collabs. Like, they actually make their money that way. You pay them, you get to collab with them.
YouTuber channels that you're saying? Yeah,
pretty filthy.
That's not on
the
Twitch
culture.
yet,
The culture perspective. That's a really interesting way to look at it. And to be honest, I think that's probably one of the better ways. And primarily because, you know, right now for a lot of people, Twitch is kind of like that young, exciting startup. Even though it's been around for years, it hasn't really gone mainstream to any capacity. So I can tell people personally, I feel a lot of camaraderie with the people that I stream with. You know, I formed my streaming group explicitly on the purpose of bringing together streamers that I think work well together, network properly, or, you know, maintain themselves professionally, that kind of thing. And even Zeke. And it's the kind of thing that, you know, as we move forward, I've had a lot of comments come about how YouTube, a lot of times to people these days, there's a more, I use this word very carefully, a more kind of jaded atmosphere where everything boils down to more metric related stuff. Like, okay, if I'm going to do this collab, how's it going to benefit me? Where's the money involved? Is this worth it?
And I think you see that on Twitch in the top streamers.
You do.
But no one else.
That's
but
true.
the smaller streamers obviously like understand to work with one, or not understand,
Yes.
but are willing to work with other. Top streamers, not so
Absolutely.
much.
But
I
it just-
haven't seen a lot of those people ever host anyone ever when it comes to other streamers. It's very rare.
Is a good point. That is a good point. But it is the kind of thing where, you know, until Twitch becomes a household name, like YouTube. You go down the road, you ask anyone what YouTube is, they'll know what YouTube is.
Right.
You walk down the road and ask someone what Twitch is, I bet you 1 out of 50 people would know what you're talking about. And the others would probably think you're talking about some obscure porn. But the thing is, when it comes down to it with the Twitch, it's much more community oriented from what I've seen. But also I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the caster and the community are always in parallel. Where in YouTube, it's kind of this, the caster is on at demand and not at the demand of the caster themselves. It's the kind of thing where, you know, when a caster's casting, they're live, the community can interact with them, it's a 1-to-1. But on YouTube, the caster's there whenever any one of the myriad of followers want them to be. So there's not quite as much of that communal connection, especially with the other people. A stream goes live, you jump into that stream, all of a sudden you see names that you've seen all these before. It's like a get together. I mean, I say hello in the morning to every sub in my channel. It's a 15-minute event sometimes of 250 plus names. And then after I say hello to everyone, that's when the wall of hellos between everyone in the community starts. You just don't get that with YouTube. And those connections don't, you know, and if anything, you go to the YouTube comments, a lot of times it's
terrible.
just like, it's like anti-community a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I
it's
turned mine off
really-
for that very reason. Like, it wasn't benefiting
exactly.
my community anyway. I moved everyone over to the subreddit, which is much better. And it's like,
I
I don't want you leaving YouTube comments because they're shit. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You turn your YouTube comments off. The idea of me not looking at my chat makes me question if I would even want to
Sure.
cast. It's
Yeah.
such a dichotomy.
It's very different.
I think that
Yeah.
has a big part to play into this whole discussion.
Yeah. I mean, hell, we went sub-only mode ages ago. Like, probably over a year ago, we had sub-only mode, and
Yeah.
we kept it that way, and it was fine. Like, the thing is, like, when we brought people over from YouTube, we got a massive influx over a very short period of time. It was really hard to control. So sub-only mode was the way that we made that work, and it was totally fine. Like, we have a pleasant chat now, but the idea of not having a chat for a Twitch stream is ridiculous. Like, that's half of the reason people go to Twitch streams. And as you said, it's a completely different way of content delivery. It's a VOD on YouTube is evergreen. Like, someone can find it 2 years later and watch it. Like, you've forgotten you even made that video. People are still watching it. People still watch my goddamn League of Legends videos, for God's sake. You know, I haven't played that game in 3 years. You know? and Twitch is
No, well, it's on
vital
top-
and it's live.
Yeah, I went to your page and it was on your top videos. Like that.
Yeah,
and
that's
that-
one of the, isn't it like
uploaded
still one of
for-
your top videos
Yeah.
It's
each
like
month
3
or
million
something
views
like
or
that?
something like that. Yeah, it's completely out of date. Anyone that watches that video will have no idea
That's
how to
what
play
it was. I
League of
remember you telling
Legends.
me
It's
about that
completely
once.
different now.
That's the dumbest thing.
But yeah,
So
it's just a totally different thing. Like, Twitch is the now, you know, it's about the live experience. YouTube, you come across something that is a piece of content that you just want to watch, and it's sitting there. It doesn't interact with you in any way. It's just it's actually, like, in my opinion, a very honest transaction. It's just, here's the content, give me the ad view, here's your content. Done.
It's
On
like,
Twitch,
it's
they're
like
very
TV
much
on
more
demand.
community
It's like a
oriented.
Netflix or a Hulu for
Yeah, it's on
generated
demand.
content by
Sure.
users. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a difference for me. Like this, how I can relate to it. It's a difference between acting on stage and acting in a movie. You know, acting in a movie, there's no audience, there's no organic feeling from breathing, living people. Like it's easier for me. That's why Twitch is such a great platform for me, because it's easier for me to react organically with people who are actually there, quote unquote, but like talking and laughing and that kind of stuff. That's why I like theater so much more, like better than I like acting in front of a camera.
That's a good comparison.
Same kind of idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that, Zeke. That's a really good comparison, man.
It seems like the convo is winding down, so we'll do a quick promo. If you have a question to ask, we have a Google form set up in the chat, so we're not going to get to very many of them because we're kind of running short on time. But if you have a question, feel free to submit it. We do questions every week at the end of the show. In terms of the convo, I think we've kind of come full circle, everyone. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on, Ko and Zeke, or even TB? Any topics?
If nothing else, it's really cool to see how Twitch is attracting, you know, these big content creators that have kind of had their stations on other sites for years and years and years, to see them kind of branch out to here. I think that if nothing else, at the end of the day, it's really going to help all of us Twitch-centric people really kind of have to up our game. If nothing else, just for the competitive value.
The other thing, too, is that they bring viewers to Twitch. Like, as soon as, for example, when TB streams something, he goes offline on that particular game, those viewers, more likely, a good percentage of them,
don't always disappear.
they're not going to disappear. They're going to go somewhere else. So
Yeah.
That's
And
probably
obviously,
has
I'll
to
use
do.
host mode when I can to do that.
Yeah,
but
I
if
think
not,
you've hosted me before, and it's
Yeah,
helped
sure.
immensely. Yeah, so
absolutely. And I mean, there's no reason kind of not to do that, really. Like, it's almost like curating good content, isn't it? Like, I mostly host my players for StarCraft 2, so I help them out to give them a few extra views. But if I'm on a podcast, or it's like, hey, my host mode isn't pointing to anything particularly good right now, and here's this thing I'm watching, I'll just /host it for the sake of it. You know, it's cool. It doesn't benefit me in any way, but it's fun anyway. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. It just brings in those viewers, and some of them will stick around on Twitch because it's easy to find content on Twitch. So maybe they just go and watch another stream. Maybe they're not done watching the game that you played, but
Right.
you're done playing it, so they'll go somewhere else.
And I think to kind of wrap the combo, when you look at someone on Twitch and they have a shit ton of viewers, and you find out that they're a YouTuber with an inherent audience to begin with, don't be upset or get jaded at the fact that they have that many people and they just started streaming last week. They've built that community for years.
Yeah, they just built it
Through
somewhere
a
else.
lot
Yeah.
of hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
always
have
keep
those
that in mind.
numbers,
Blind
they
luck.
have them for a reason.
Because trust me, it's one of the easiest things to do on Twitch is to look at someone else and say, why not me? It's like broadcaster, and I'm sure this is true on YouTube as well. Don't do that. In fact, if you're going to start streaming, stop watching other streams if you're going to pay attention to the viewer count, because it's going to do nothing but harm to you. Just do your thing, try to grow, and if it's not working out, then don't blame it on someone else. Try to figure out why it's not working out for
The
you.
only time you should be looking at other channel numbers if you are looking in a way to positively position your own channel, and at that point it's metrics. Just
Right.
strip away names, time slots, numbers, who's streaming, how big is the audience, done. Like that's it.
I say this as someone that breaks that rule once a week. So even people like me that say don't do it, do it. So it's very, very, very hard to do. It's something that I think Twitch streamers will always be trying to work on.
You can't help it. Like, no matter how big your channel grows, there's usually gonna be someone way bigger than you, and you're wondering why. And it's just self-destructive behavior that
yeah.
some of us can't avoid doing.
Sure.
Dude, I had a 2-month period. I was streaming 16 hours a day, losing followers every day, playing the wrong games at the wrong times,
Yep.
and I literally lost weight. I had sleeping issues. I was going to bed thinking that I was failing. Like this is a whole topic for
yeah.
another show.
I tweeted about it last week. We're gonna do an episode about depression and streaming and like managing the emotional bullshit that comes with streaming. So look for that in a future episode. But yeah, it's tough. So be aware of all of that, and that's true in most anything you're gonna do in life. But I feel like it's amplified when it's in front of thousands of people on a daily basis here on Twitch. So. Anyways, let's take some questions from this forum. Here's a great question kind of on the same topic. Antoine asks, as a noob streamer, how many hours should I stream for? What do you guys think, Zeke, TB? You have a general rule of thumb?
As many as possible.
Right now, it's much more important about consistency. Don't worry so much about how long you're streaming. Be more about a good time slot with good games at a consistent rate. It is much better to stream 2 hours a day 5 days a week at the same time every day than 6 hours whenever you can fit it. Now, granted, that works for some people, but if you want to start building those people that come back every day, every stream, and all of a sudden you take a few days off, and when they come back at that scheduled time, they're those people right there waiting for you in your channel, talking before you even get there, that's when you know you're on the right path.
That is the first thing I tell people, like, when they ask, like, what are your advice? Number one, have a schedule, post it, stick to it.
Yep. And also think about what times you're streaming. One of the best ways to grow a stream is to stream when no one else is. Because you're going to catch the numbers on those bigger games and grow much quicker than if you're streaming when someone else has 30K viewers on their stream. They're never going to find you. But if you're streaming when they're, like, it's kind of weird to think about, but when numbers are low on Twitch, that's when the most amount of discovery occurs because people aren't watching the bigger streamers because they're not live. Because they've already established their audience and they can tend to go to a time that fits their schedule better. So be willing to like bend your own schedule when it comes to channel growth. Also, feel free to pull questions out.
I'd also say be aware of upcoming games and things that you think will work well on a stream. Because if you were the guy that jumped on Darkest Dungeon first, you got a boost from that. Yep. Like every now and again, there will be a new game that becomes a popular streaming game. So try and position yourself, and also just like learn about upcoming games. Do your fucking research. Don't wait for one to land in your lap because someone's already researched it and got there ahead of you.
Yep.
Make sure that you're ahead of the curve on that.
Darkest Dungeon made a lot of streamers.
Right now.
Yep. Darkest Dungeon is not only made streamers, it is still making streamers. It's a great game to stream right now. Hand of Fate has gotten a lot of PR on a lot of good shows lately. I'm going to be playing
Hand of Fate should be pushed. I expect Hand of Fate to at some point reach maybe the top 10 this week if it's streamed by the right people.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. It looks interesting to say the least.
Yeah,
so.
and you've got to think about the aspects of why it's a good stream game. And there's an element of procedural generation in there. There's an element of randomness, and there's an element of unfairness. Those are three things which work really well. Think about the games that are popular. H1Z1, bunch of shit like that. DayZ, bunch of shit like that. Dota 2, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, they're full of unfair bullshit. Hearthstone, completely full of unfair bullshit. There's a lot of games in that top 10 that have certain elements that work well with streams. You've got to identify what those elements are and then try and figure out what the next game is that has them.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, always watch the top 10 lists. Always. If you're really serious about streaming, the first thing you should do when you wake up in the morning, look at the top 10 list. What's being streamed? What's new that day? Is it something you anticipate?
By game or by streamer? You're saying by game?
Yeah. By game. Yeah. Always look at the top 10 game list because I can't tell you how many little one-off games that, like Darkest Dungeon. I found Darkest Dungeon on the first day of early access by the main menu guys because Cobalt Streak and all those guys were streaming it. It was like the 8th game, and I was like, "What's this game? I've never heard of this."
Yep.
2 clicks later, this is awesome. It's it's amazing how much that can help.
Someone in chat pointed out these games are salt generators. Yep.
That's
salt
what streaming
generators are important.
Is salt, watching people get salty, or watching someone who's super skilled, or watching someone who's super entertaining. Those are like the 3 things.
Yeah, totally.
The 3 paths to growing big on Twitch. Get salty.
I'm really close on this one. I'm really close.
Get salty, be entertaining, or be really good.
Or go get good. Yeah.
It's kind of true, sadly. Anyways, we might have a... Mass Horde is asking, how hard is it sometimes to not argue with places like Reddit or community of a game? I think we may have some conflicting views here. For me...
Really hard.
I stay the fuck away from all conversations of opinion everywhere. Because I feel like the second that you make an opinion somewhere, people will judge either for you or against you, and you automatically lose a viewer because of that.
Oh
And it's really weird to say that openly, but it's totally
JP
true.
just admitted to being the most vanilla streamer. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
I have no opinions on anything. Then no one could be
No,
offended.
I'll have opinions on my own stream, but I'm not going to do it openly somewhere else before they even get a chance to watch the stream.
So I had a really interesting experience with this with H1Z1 because I decided to not only make a YouTube video showcasing my opinion on some very controversial stuff, but also attempt to respond to criticism in a Reddit thread. And what I decided to do is I said, I'm going to sit down.
I learned that from the StarCraft
anyone
days,
that
man.
pings me in this one thread, I'm going to write concise, grammatically correct, professional responses with proper capitalization using words that I appreciate.
Mistake.
And damn it, I am going to argue these people into understanding that I just want to entertain them.
No.
And 3 hours later, oh my God.
How many bottles of perfume did you go through?
Now here's the thing.
Spray it on that turd.
Dude, okay, now here's the thing. I have to Reddit's credit, there were a lot of really good people in there. And there was a surprising amount of people going, wow, thank you for the like, you know, we appreciate the fact that you're trying to talk to us. Like, please don't let the other people sully the fact that we appreciate that you attempted to do things.
It sullies it anyway, though, doesn't it?
Percent of them, oh my God, man. I mean, I basically walked into their front door and slapped their mother across the face and then picked up their cat and choked it to death in front of their small child and then set their house on fire.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it was amazing the amount of just like, you know, I'd write this multi-paragraph response, like quoting details, linking YouTubes to other people's highlight. If you see in this highlight at 32 seconds, it's pretty clear that the developer stated it's a bug. And the response would be one line: "You're a fucking moron, and your face is fat." And I'd be like, "Oh well, sir, I actually have a medical."
Well, it turns out you had an opinion about video games on the internet. That was your first mistake.
Yeah. I
I
feel
learned
like
my lesson from that. Now I'm in JP's camp.
I feel like
I was talking about
JP.
I feel like I'm in my camp because I came from a community in StarCraft where I casted, for example, BlizzCon one year. I was in the #1 spot on Reddit all of like, I don't know, probably 5,000 or 6,000 comments. And a good portion of every single one of those was saying like, oh my God, this guy is complete fucking shit. Why is he casting BlizzCon? Who hired this fucking idiot? Blah, 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 blah. Part of me was also down because of that. But the other part of me was like, well, I can't respond to that because it's only going to be bad things. So if you ever see negativity about yourself anywhere on the internet and it's not in your chat, just let it go. Just it's one of the hardest things to do.
I will very hypocritically tell you to do that.
That's why it's funny we're talking about this. Yeah.
I'm literally in therapy because I can't. Just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
So don't fall into my trap.
Yeah. And I'll probably be in therapy soon, right there.
Thing is, it hurts me the most.
80% of YouTubers I know are in therapy.
Yeah.
It hurts me the most that I can't respond to that person.
It fucking hurts so badly.
Like, because when people come into my channel, I relish it. I'm like, I tell my mods, I'm like, let it go. Allow me to retort.
Let it go. See, he's on the Frozen thing again.
Yeah, there you go.
Let the comment go. Don't ban it.
Zeke, one of the best things.
Allow me to retort.
One of the best things I've ever experienced was at a autograph signing for, I think it was like StarCraft caster or something. I was up there with like Nick, Tasteless Artosis, two big casters, and then me, who's kind of like I was a middling caster. Not that many people enjoyed. Some people did. Blah blah blah. And like they would get both Nick and Dan's autograph, and then I was third on the line. And most people would just like keep walking by or say like, "Hey, thanks for what you do." Blah blah blah. One guy came up to him and be like, "Why do you cast?" And so I was like actually having a conversation with someone from Reddit right in front of me. And it was like one of the best conversations ever because he was actually polite and cordial about the conversation.
They always are at events. I've never met someone that, like, I've never met an internet person in real life, like, at a convention. It's just never happened. Like, they don't act the same way.
Internet persona.
I bet there are a few trolls in there, but they didn't act like it when they met me. They were really nice.
Yeah.
So...
I have had one of the biggest trolls I've ever known come up and give me a hug. And after like months and months of serious, like multiple bans, being unbanned, stuff like that, he just kind of gives me a hug, follows back, "You know I'm kidding, right?"
Yeah, they do the fucking Kappa.
And it's just like, oh,
the whole Kappa
yeah.
started to piss me off too, because now people use it as a way to get away for being a prick. They're like,
Prick,
say something really fucking rude, and there's like, Kappa.
Hey, you're a fucking
literally the
asshole.
worst cast
And
I've
I
ever
hate
seen.
your mother,
should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
sorry,
no offense.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm not racist, but
It's the same line of thinking.
I don't mean to be an asshole, but
but here's this asshole thing I'm about to say.
yeah, I'm
God.
racist or anything, but
You're a piece of shit, but no offense.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no offense.
No offense.
I'll
but
do-
I
that
absolutely
doesn't
hate
help.
everything about you.
all due
It's
respect.
like offering you a bandage after they shot you in the face.
Yeah,
Like,
it really
that
is.
doesn't help.
It really is.
I didn't mean it.
Another question. This one more technical. Oh God, I can't. Struce says, "What software do you suggest for people to use on YouTube editing software in specific?" I use Vegas. Don't learn Vegas if you're going to learn something for the first time. Learn Premiere.
Learn Premiere.
It's much better.
Here's why to use Premiere right now, because you can subscribe to it instead of paying for it.
Yep.
Huge deal for new YouTubers. You're willing to put $20 a month aside, you can subscribe to the latest version of Premiere with all the updates.
And it's
it
not
works
going to
just
cost
like
you
the regular one.
$1,000. It's going to cost
And
you
it
like
doesn't cost you
$20.
$1,000 like it otherwise would.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pirate. Here's what they did. They realized everyone was pirating it.
No, it's
So they
one of
said-
the smartest things Adobe's ever done. Is putting the
Yeah.
subscription thing on all their
Yeah.
programs.
Exactly.
It's so smart.
So we own all the Adobe programs now for like $35 a month.
Yep.
And we're fine with that. And we know we're getting fleeced in the long run. Like 3 years down the line, we're going to pay more than those fucking programs are worth. Doesn't matter. We're still going to do it
Yeah.
because it's convenient. Like, you just factor that into your expenses. It's fine. But
Yep.
yeah,
So-
Premiere's good. You should use that.
It's the
Total
best.
Biscuit. If people say, XSplit if you want to pay OBS
Oh,
if you
fuck,
want
here
to
we
be
go.
free.
No,
Is there- no. Hold on.
Don't you
Is-
fucking start this shit, Co.
Start this shit. Start this
Hold
shit.
on. Okay.
Right.
For YouTubers, if someone approached you and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about dabbling, but I want a relatively good free alternative," is there anything that you can suggest in that regard?
For editing,
For basic video editing, I don't have any money. Is there anything
it's really
you can
hard.
Yeah, that one's rough.
There's actually not
Is
that
there a
many.
GIMP for video editing?
Fucking Windows Movie Maker is like probably one of the best things you're going to get for free, like for actual editing. You can use Virtual Dub as well, but the problem is using something like Virtual Dub is it doesn't teach you how to use any of the other good stuff.
Yeah.
Like I used a thing called Coral Video a long time ago, and then I moved to Premiere, and I learned a lot of things from Coral Video that I could it's transferable skills. Like using stuff like
Honestly,
Virtual Dub is not going to help you.
I think Premiere and I think Vegas as well both have like 30-day trials that are full featured.
Yeah, they do.
So,
Yeah.
If you can afford a subscription to World of Warcraft, you can afford to get Adobe Premiere once a month.
Yeah, you can. You can
Okay,
now
that makes
anyway.
sense.
It didn't used
Yeah.
to be. That's a recent thing.
Yeah,
so
it's very-
take
it's
advantage of that, frankly.
Past a year or so, yeah.
Yeah, but editing for free is there's
It's
not that
dicey.
many good programs,
It's
and
dicey.
the ones that do work don't really help you in the long run.
And the quality of your videos will be
Suffer.
greatly damaged for cheap editing software.
Yeah,
You're
it's
paying
hard.
for those
Good
algorithms,
to
blah
know.
blah blah, for the editing and the rendering.
Very good to know. Thank you for that, guys.
Yeah.
Zeke,
I
you
get
wanna-
that
Why
question
you
a lot,
streaming
actually,
when
so
you can
that's
get the Jesus OBS worship him upon his golden throne? God, I hate. I call them Jehovah's Witnesses. They come to
I'm
your
gonna steal
Twitter.
that. I'm
and they
gonna
said,
steal
"Have you
it.
heard about our Lord and Savior
I'm
OBS?"
gonna steal it.
Fuck off.
I have a pamphlet for you. If you just read the pamphlet,
Your pamphlet.
all you gotta do is just read it. Can you give me 5 minutes to read this fucking pamphlet, please? You'll change your life. I'm kidding.
There you go.
Look, with OBS and XSplit, use what you're good with. Like, I use XSplit because I find that its overlay functionality and the ability to edit frames on the fly while not live, and its interface is just better than OBS. OBS is totally fine
Yeah.
if what you want to do is, like, if you want to do, like, it's got a lot of cool plugins, like, you want to do the donation thing, there's plugins and stuff like that. If you want to just do gameplay and camera, OBS is just fine.
Yep.
If you want to do a lot of, like, webcam shows and stuff like this, or something a little bit more advanced, or esports presentation, you should probably be using XSplit.
You can do it in both, but use XSplit. It's easier.
Yeah, XSplit's just easier to do it in. It's faster.
That's exactly what I do. I've moved all my shows over to XSplit, and then for just personal streaming, it's all OBS because there's less issues over there with capture.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
one of those guys
OBS
in the
capture
middle.
is better.
I use OBS. It's great for everything I do. If XSplit ever offers me something I want, like I'll check it out. No
That's
big
the other
deal.
thing
You
too.
know,
Something to think
whatever
about.
Wirecast.
Yeah, Wirecast they've actually done some things recently, but the biggest thing is that OBS does not have a team working on OBS like XSplit has a team working on XSplit. So that's one thing to consider too.
XSplit barely has a team working on XSplit.
Exactly, they barely have a
still
team.
haven't fixed the goddamn audio issue that's been there for like 2 years.
There's a billion issues. Which issue are you referring to specifically?
The crackling when you go on with like an advanced audio interface.
Oh yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, just whatever suits you. It's like the difference between like what do you find more user friendly for your?
What did you learn first? Is usually what people stick to. I learned XSplit first, so I use XSplit.
I learned XSplit first, and OBS just functions with me better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's a personal decision, guys. Don't preach.
Yeah.
No, it is better. I mean, are we arguing that which one's better? Is OBS
No, we're not.
Don't
We're
do
not
it.
going to do
It
that
doesn't-
thing.
but, no, I mean, TV nailed
XSplit doesn't
it.
have an interface that was organized by an alien from another dimension, so there's that.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, TV nailed it best. It doesn't even matter if you have the best tools, if you know the best ways to use them, and you can get the product you want. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So
You can get the same product out of both, you just do it in different ways.
Exactly.
at that point, it's
anybody who
preference.
really champions one or the other is an idiot because
Oh, God.
you're not making any money off of it.
Yeah.
Fucking,
No,
I
no,
don't know
that's-
what it is about open source communities, but they are literally just like, they are religious zealots, and they need to stop it. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
It's
Please.
team mentality, though. This is all basic team
guess.
mentality.
Yeah, it's
Us versus the
tribalism.
other guys. Like,
Yeah.
it's timeless, and we can't argue it.
I happen to know the Yankees suck because I'm a Sox fan. Yeah.
I see.
Exactly.
I don't know about this hand egg.
This sport ball thing, you gotta explain it.
Sport
to me.
I think we'll see how much time it takes. Might be the last question. Conman Cody asks, how much should I invest in starting to stream? That's a good question.
Be
Well,
prepared to get a good mic. Like,
a decent mic, a
And that can-
decent webcam, if that's interested. But
You don't
most
need a
importantly,
standalone mic as well. You can get headsets.
If
Just
you're-
get the right one.
if you're
I would not
starting-
recommend a gaming headset. I wouldn't.
No,
I
I'm
agree.
not. I'm not saying gaming headset. I'm saying get a headset.
Yeah, but if you get a good headset, you also need a good interface to power it, because otherwise it's going to sound like shit. Like, I really
Might be
think
true.
standalone. I recommend the same thing for everybody. Like, I want to start making YouTube videos. Buy a Samsung C01U.
Yeah. That's
It's
what
a
I was gonna say.
USB microphone. It's about $60.
I guess that is
plugs in,
standalone. Yeah.
It's a sound card in and of itself. You plug it in, it works. It sounds good. Get a
Don't.
pop shield for it and go.
Whatever you do, don't buy a Yeti.
No,
You're not
going to
make it sound good. You're not going to make it sound good.
The price.
Zeke, hold on, Zeke. You bought a Yeti first, didn't you? That's why you're laughing.
No. I never did.
I've
No,
had a Blue Yeti for a
I've-
long time. It works great.
like and Yetis are mostly like primarily USBs, and I've been going through a mixer since I started, or after I went from laptop streaming to like an actual PC.
Yeah.
But the most I spent, like I saved up money and I bought a decent running PC so I could game and stream from the same one.
Has anyone used that Razer mic that just came out?
I'm
The USB
using it
mic?
right now. The Razer Siren. Yes, it actually replaced my Blue Yeti, which I absolutely
Isn't it
love.
also actually a Blue Yeti? Like, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
like-
it's not just a rebranded blue mic.
Oh no! The Razer Siren is good. Are you
Peel
talking about the Razer-
Peel is this
I'm pretty sure it is. Like, I think it was Linus that was saying this looks suspiciously like a blue mic. I'm pretty sure they just rebranded one.
Huh. I don't know
I don't
anything
know.
about it. That's why I was asking.
What's
It works.
how do you spell it? Siren,
S-I-R-E-N.
Siren, blue.
It's strange. But no, I will say, like,
Is
if you
the
get
Razer
your
mic
account-
a rebranded blue Yeti? There's a Reddit thread on this.
Oh, good Reddit. We're back to this. Super. Thanks.
Yeah, they're
Let's
reliable.
bring us back this direction. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like they may have used some blue components in it. Like but yeah, one way or the
It
other.
looks very
Well,
similar.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. A Blue Yeti's great. That's not a bad thing. I loved my Blue Yeti. People ask me all the time, "How do you sound good without headphones?" Because I don't use headphones. It's the Blue Yeti. Like that's
Well,
what
you also
it was.
mute yourself when other people are.
You have a noise gate that helps.
I mean, I do a few other tricks, but it's nothing that a normal person can't easily do. It's software settings. I don't use any special software or anything like that. But anyway, what I wanted to say is back to the original question.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we went off on a huge tangent and didn't actually get
Well,
to
we
the
all
point.
have to talk. Yeah.
The question itself is inherently flawed. Because what the question was implying is, how much do I want to invest to make this venture worth it? And the short answer is, you never start streaming expecting to make money back. Ever. Period.
No. Same
You
with
don't want
YouTube.
to ever-
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, same on YouTube. You don't, like, that's the answer to the
Don't
question.
quit
is
and then don't quit
what
your
you wanna
job and
do-
the next day be like, I'm gonna be.
Please,
I'm
God,
gonna
don't do
Yes,
that.
do that.
exactly. And don't buy a $2,000 machine and go, hey, I'm going to put all this money into my machine and I'm going to, stream and make it all back in, at least 5 or 6 months. I'll budget that much. Because you may not get $1. You may not get more
No,
than
you
a
might
single-
not.
Never happen. So the short answer is invest however much money you're comfortable with doing on a hobby. You do it at a hobby level. If you really want to do it as a hobby and you're invested in it, then save up your money and put that money into it as a hobby. But never expect that money to come back. So the word investment is not what you want to use when you're starting streaming. if you want to stream, you want to do it because you like games. You want to do it because you want to talk to people. You want to have a plan B, a full-time job, never expect to make you money, and then approach it with that mindset. And when it picks up, when you start getting donations and money, then you start thinking about, okay, what do I want to take of this money I've made and invest back into my stream?
Yep.
Consider all money invested an immediate loss. Consider you just took it to Vegas and put it all on black, because that's probably what you did. Just do it as a hobby. Be proud of the product that you put out on a personal level. When I started doing video, it was years before I started making any money from it. And I was doing a Let's Play of Shining Force 3, and I invested in a new mic, I invested in new capture stuff, because I just wanted it to be better. Because that was my own personal gratification.
Was that before your WoW podcast days?
It was during the WoW podcast days. I mean, I'd invest in kit for the WoW podcast as well, but we never made any money on WoW Radio either. That was like a 5-year fan project, and we bought audio. And I went through so many preamps, and just all sorts of things. Like my good old SM58 that I dropped. I managed to drop it in a bucket of salt water, and that fucking mic still survived. That is a tank of a microphone.
Yeah,
but don't go out and buy an SM58 because you need to plug that into a good interface. JP is using an SM7B, I believe.
Yeah, and it's got a cloud lifter going into a mic, into a compressor, into an amp, into
exactly. I run an EV20 Electro Voice into a RME Babyface interface. I actually don't use a compressor, mostly because all of my stuff is post production, so I can compress and post.
Yeah.
So I don't need to do any of that. Like, I process my audio through a bunch of plugins. I should get a compressor because it would make my stream better, but I'm also terrible with technology, and you shouldn't take any of my advice.
No, everything that I know.
My microphone plugs in through USB.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've gotten like almost every single thing I got starting out streaming, I got it from a pawn shop.
Sure.
Like you can find.
You can buy stuff cheap. Refurbished is not bad.
Microphones like
no.
Webcam.
Especially like if it's an old school mic, they're designed to last 30, 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
It'll sound exactly the same. Hell, it'll probably sound better than when it was bought.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can find it if you look for it. I mean, there's deals and cheap shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. If you have a friend, for me, my friend was DJ Wheat, the god of audio, as I like to call him.
Oh, he knows his shit.
Because I go to Wheat, I'm just like, hey, Wheat, I want to do this. He's like, well, we need one of these. And I just buy it, and it works perfectly.
Yeah.
So you can find
He also
some
overcomplicates everything he does. I love him.
Oh, exactly. That's, yep, 100%. But yeah, if you could find someone that has that knowledge, like, utilize the shit out of them. But don't bother them. That's another thing. Don't be an annoyance to them. I think that's going to do it for the show. I think we're going to wrap it up.
Sure.
So, we'll do shout-outs here at the end of the show. Thanks, everyone, so much for watching. Why don't you do some shout-outs, ma'am?
Sure. Well, big thanks, as always, to Zeke and JP. Total Biscuit, it's been a pleasure these last 2 days doing these with you.
It's been fun, man.
Great meeting you. Yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. My name is CohhCarnage. You can find me at twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. I'm actually going to be streaming directly after this podcast. We've got some community Rust building. We're working on building some castles tonight, so I hope to see you guys there. Find me on Twitter under the same name and YouTube as well. Best way to follow the stream is also the Steam group. Going to have a very exciting few months coming up here. Well, not really, actually, but Witcher 3 hype in 2 months.
There you go.
So anyway, thanks again for watching.
There you go. Zeke, do some shout-outs for us.
I'm Ezekiel the Third, Ezekiel _III. I broadcast most every day except for Thursdays and Fridays. Take them off. But I'm live at 11 a.m. Pacific, usually for around 8 hours per broadcast. I've been playing some Darkest Dungeon, but I'm going to delve right into H1Z1, and then I'm going to check out that game that I was sent by somebody, Oblitus. I'm gonna check it out and see what's sometime this weekend, or maybe
might be the next big thing. You don't know.
You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be in the forefront of that. But this Saturday, I'm in talks with another broadcaster, Cobalt Streak. We might do some battle royale together.
Nice.
So that'll be a lot of fun. I want to thank you, Total Biscuit. I said this while we were off camera, but I was a little nervous about you being here today because I was afraid that you just crush me if I.
Why do people get this impression that I'm just going to come and shit on them on a stream?
That's what you do to me!
Because you're my friend!
That's a trade.
No, I know.
That's what
I'm
we do
joking.
in Britain. We shit on our friends, sometimes literally.
And I hope to one day.
Strange culture we have.
I hope one day shit on by you. Be considered your friend enough that you will shit on me.
At some point in the future, I'm sure I will shit on you.
Oh, speaking of being shit on, in the works is a roast we're gonna do Twitch roasts. We're gonna do some Twitch roasts.
Oh,
And
right.
First one going to be roasted. It's gonna happen in March, like 20th or 21st. The Sour Kool-Aid Show is putting together a lot of people to do a roast, and they're gonna try and do one every month with big name streamers and stuff like that. They're testing it on me first because I can I can take it and I can dish it out and that kind of stuff. But like Co's gonna be there, Spamfish, Gassy Mexican, La Renee, like a lot of big names are gonna
Many assholes will be teared.
Just fisting my butt. So it's gonna be that's gonna be a lot of fun. So look for that in March.
Nice. I can't wait for everyone in the chat to like use those comments and against you later. Yeah.
You know it.
Way to fuel that hate train, Zeke. What a fucking brilliant.
Bring it.
I'm joking. TB, do some shout outs, sir.
Okay, yeah, so you can find me mostly on YouTube. I do youtube.com/cynicalbrit is my main channel. I do have a StarCraft channel for our team, Axiom Esports, which is a pro team we run out of South Korea. You can find that over at youtube.com/totalbiscuit. So that's a little confusing. We really need to sort that branding out, but it is what it is. And we actually have a third channel as well, which is my wife's channel. We do a lot of collab stuff there. I believe we are opening a box called Universal Yums, which is a random snack box from around the world, and I have to eat everything that's in it. It will probably not turn out well, especially if some of that stuff is Japanese. It'll probably be squid. But outside of that, I do stream sometimes on Twitch. My regular show is on Tuesdays. It is the Co-optional Podcast. And that's myself, Jesse Cox, and Dodger from YouTube, and we'll take a guest. And we had CohhCarnage on last week. The show for VODs will actually be up tomorrow. You'll be able to watch it on my YouTube channel. That's where you find the VODs otherwise. And we also have a show that we now run called Co-optional Lounge, which is 2 hours of board games and bullshit. We generally drink and play board games and swear at each other. And you can find that on, again, twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit. This week it's airing at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. on the west coast of the U.S., and you can watch that live. That'll be myself, Jesse Cox, Krendor, and Dodger.
Awesome stuff. People requested it. I hate doing it, but they made myself a shout-out card just so people would shut up. Hi, I'm JP McDaniel. I run a show called Drop Frames.
God,
also,
you are so self-centered.
It's so self-centered. Also, this is the 2-year anniversary of Roleplay, so thanks everyone for all the support over the past 2 years.
Shit.
TB, we had I'm fucking up the whole thing. Jeff Robinson, who you know, of course,
yes,
made. Have you heard of this fucking bet that he made with someone yesterday on?
No. What's he done now?
So he's going to a tournament this weekend in Las Vegas for the Warhammer 40K tabletop thing. It's the biggest one in the U.S. If he wins, which he has a very good chance of doing, he's promised to have Dark Heresy back.
How the fuck does he get to do that arbitrarily?
I don't know. I'm making sure you're aware.
Players. Can't trust him.
Making sure you're aware of the bet, so if he does win, you're gonna get a lot of tweets.
I've said it already. Like, I'd love to have Dark Heresy back. I currently can't really do these big 4-hour shows. Like, those roleplay shows are quite intense. So,
Yep.
I maybe at some point it will happen. Hopefully after I'm looking for May as kind of the restart of everything. So maybe May.
Maybe a summer gift for everyone.
Yeah.
For all.
Or maybe we just do shorter shows. Like maybe we can do 2-hour shows instead of 4, and then I might be able to kind of live through it.
There you go. That might actually happen. We'll see. All right, guys. First hour will be up on YouTube here, probably 2 or 3 hours after it renders and all that stuff. Second hour will be up much later than that. We'll see you guys next week. I think, next week we're doing one final show before PAX East, if it even happens. Probably will. I'm not sure who's going to be on next week. We'll let you guys know as soon as we find that out.
PAX East even happens?
Dude, it's snowing over there, Zeke. It's
snowing
crazy.
a lot.
It's actually crazy, man. It's going to happen. I just say that because I'm a dad.
Oh, okay. I was like, what, did they cancel Christmas?
Pretty much. That's what it is for a lot of people. So we'll see you guys next week on the next Drop Frames, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. TB, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
Yeah.
See you guys next week. We're out. Bye-bye.